Hello everybody, Ground back here, and welcome back to the Generation Jumble. Now, this is going to be a very special one, because this is what Greg Gusto has called the Tentacruel Saga. He is really determined to actually make Tentacruel a Pokemon you can actually see in OU. So we have not one, but two. We have I think 5 or 6 replays. So should be interesting. Like honestly, I'm kind of digging the idea of Tentacruel in Gen 1 OU, but it's mostly because of Sceptile. Now that Sceptile's, well, from the viability rankings, or the usage rate from today, tied with Porygon for the most used Pokemon, it's everywhere. And I think having a water type with high special and your poison typing making you neutral towards grass could be very, very interesting, along with being really fast and having access to Wrap. So let's get started. Now this first replay is actually be one with me, because I tried testing out, I guess you can call it a stall, and ended up being very interesting. So for this one, I can actually explain to you everything that I did. And unfortunately, I got a crit at the start, which kind of just completely destroyed all of Smeargle's viability. So that's why I just tried to go for a Super Fang. Hoping I can Revenge Kill on Chansey, but it unfortunately just wasn't enough, just barely wasn't enough. So they ended up going in the Rhydon. And originally I was planning on using, what's it called, Rhydon 2. But then I figured for my team, Gliscor would actually be a lot better, because it's mostly a big stally team, where the goal is to have like Smeargle and Chansey paralyzed stuff, just get a lot of chip damage in, which gives Gliscor some like actual chances to go for Blizzard, or not Blizzard, Agility or Swords Dance. And right there, I wasn't sure what they're going to go into, so that's why I just tried going for Agility, so that way whatever they did switch into, I could have outsped. Maybe it would have been better to go for Earthquake instead, but who knows. Either way, this Porygon is being very annoying, since it had Psychic, Chansey really couldn't like take it on 1v1, especially since it has Recover. So I pivoted into Skarmory, switched into Annihilate, got crit a second time, but luckily I get a crit of my own, so Submission Okos, which is obviously a big deal. But then they have Sceptile, but luckily Skarmory, even with a crit, takes that incredibly well. Tried going for Toxic, but the Starmie was already paralyzed. They're just going back into Chansey. And this, since we're both paralyzed, unfortunately Chansey doesn't have an advantage. But this is where they went into Tentacruel. And Tentacruel took that Thunderbolt really well. And with its high special, like, it actually was a huge threat to my team. To the point where I needed just to like, sacrifice as many resources as possible, solely just to take out the Tentacruel. And luckily Annihilate managed to actually like put up some of its weight and go for a Hyper Beam that crit, which obviously helped a lot. Now this is maybe where I made a mistake, or actually no, I think that was probably the right play there, going for Agility, and then I outsped the Tentacruel. Personally, I probably would have switched out if I were them, but it ended up being fine. This, on the other hand, not so much. I got a good damage roll and did half, but with Starmie always being faster, it didn't really matter too much. It was just a matter of time before they switched, and luckily I predicted it and went for an Ice Beam, taking out the Rhydon. But now you have Heracross. And this is another moment where I probably just made a big mistake, because I decided to go for Agility instead, thinking that they would go into Sceptile so that I can outspeed and attack with Drill Peck. This was 100% my fault, and I should have just been more smart about this. Because instead, I just gave them a lot of free turns just to chip the Skarmory and then switch into Starmie. And then I stayed in instead of switching to Chansey, which probably would have been the most optimal play. So I go into Tauros, which obviously Tauros outspeeds. And luckily this Tauros has Fire Blast, which should have done a lot of damage to the Sceptile if it didn't miss. So I tried switching out, and looking back at it, this is another instance where I should have switched into the Chansey. No reason why I should have done that. So there's another really bad misplay on my part. And for some reason they kept on going for Leaf Blade. I'm not sure why they didn't go for Sword Stance or Hyper Beam, but not a big deal. I go for Ice Beam, and this is where I got greedy, because instead of going for Ice Beam, I should have just healed, because that just put me in the damage range. And the battle ends with me missing a Hyper Beam and getting killed by Sceptile. Obviously, if it would have hit, like, that would have killed the Sceptile, and then the Heracross would have been revenge killed. Still really close, but with the misplays I made, I could have easily won that. And the only person that there is to blame is me, and no one else. So this is about all that I know. The only thing I know about these other replays is that Tentacruel is in them. I don't know how good it does, or what. Or actually, that's not completely true. I do know one fact about the last replay, which I'll talk about later. So, starting off, with Tauros lead and Starmie. Interesting to say the least. I guess Tauros can be a good lead, does a lot of damage, but I think me and Great Gusto are in agreement where, even though Sceptile and Regieleki are like really good, Starmie is by far the best lead in the game, and unlike in regular Gen 1, it's not as important you keep your Starmie for late game, because like, there's just a lot of late game cleaners that are already big threat to Starmie, and here we just have Porygon just being a menace. And going into Great Tusk, and just switching to the Terrakion, predicting a double kick, takes it easily. And now we have Heracross. Now how do you attack the Great Tusk with Heracross? You can't really, because Great Tusk can take, you know, 2 Seismic Tosses. And there we have a crit and a paralysis. I did the exact same thing for my first battle against Anir. So Great Tusk easily beats the Heracross. And then Great Tusk here, it just gets a free Headlong Rush, which gets a crit in Okos. Holy crap. That's insane. But Tentacruel is faster. And luckily this Gengar is actually still trapped. So I'm not sure why you don't switch. Yeah, I'm literally about to say. Oh, you got lucky there. And I was not sure why you staying with a Gengar. I don't think Hypnosis was worth it. Unless you were just scared about it. Oh my gosh, there's just so many crits this game. It's insane. And Double Kick does about half health. So, pretty good. Terrakion can get some good damage in. And you probably should have switched into the Great Tusk again, though. If being completely honest. Yes, it's already chipped, but you have such high defense, you can easily just take on whatever Great Tusk has, or Terrakion has to throw at you. Takes out Tentacruel. Tentacruel can obviously clean this up. But what do you have in the back? Moltres, that is interesting. I'm not sure why you go for Wrap. Like, Hydro Pump or Hydro Mist. Okay, this is suddenly a huge problem. I'm just gonna use some creative liberties and just put this on fast. You probably should have waited a lot longer before actually going for Hyper Beam. Oh, and the last Pokemon is Metagross. Yeah, like, you can try going for Wrap, it's not going to be in your favor. Yeah, Creeper Man won this easily. Both people played okay. I think Creeper Man should have been a lot more conservative with their Pokemon, probably switched in the Great Tusk more, but it ended up being fine. Meanwhile, I think Great Gusco should have definitely should have stayed in with the Heracross against the Great Tusk. You like the moment Great Tusk took one sub, you should have realized that it was too late. And what they could have switched into, not sure. And you probably should have gone for a little bit longer, but that wasn't really in your favor anyways. But you did better than I thought. Against Metagross, that was a better matchup than I would have expected. Now going on to the next one with how do you pronounce that? Sasterly? I hope I said that right. Going off with another Sceptile lead, which is still crazy that's even a thing, and actually really good, since Starmie is the most consistent lead. Ooh! Oh, that's rough, buddy. Switching into Hydreigon on super effective Mega Horn. Oh, that hurts so badly. Honestly, you probably should just let the Starmie sack the Hydreigon. I just don't think it was worth it. And now you just have a Porygon that got double crit and wasted. And as we've seen, Porygon hits insanely hard. So you don't really get anything out of it. But you are getting some decent chip on Heracross at the very least. And again, I would have just switched into Hydreigon. Hydreigon doesn't do much for you here. And now you just lost 2 Pokemon to 2 crits that you... And by 2 crits, I mean 2 Pokemon getting 2 crits at the same time. The point is, that was very unnecessary. And so you switch into Sceptile too, who now just takes a Blizzard. Oh my gosh, this is... Whew. So this is why pivoting is so important in competitive and in Nuzlocke. Because sometimes your Pokemon just takes so much damage. And right now, Great Gusco is just absolutely destroying. There's like... I think they're going to go 6-0. Really unfortunate. But there's nothing they... Okay, not sure why you go for... There's really no reason not to go for Hyper Beam. Because even if you switch into Hydreigon, you're definitely getting the KO. Last minute Tentacruel just to make it about Tentacruel. Oh, boy, no. Do not finish them off with Wrap. No, that is... don't do that. Come on. What's wrong with you? Show at least a little respect. Come on now. That was just messed up. Overall, though, Zastro, yeah, I don't mean to be rude, but you definitely played that horribly. It's just the first match, though, so it's not a big deal. Obviously, like, you win for our mistakes. And the whole point of these matches right now is just to get a good feel for, you know, the meta before we actually start the real games with a real tournament. But I think we can take a huge lessons from this. Pokemon in this format hit really hard, crits hit harder, and they crit way more often than in regular, you know, like Generation 9. So it is extremely important to not only know when it's time to sacrifice a Pokemon, but to never actually risk taking a Pokemon out at full health. It's often a lot easier and safer to sacrifice a Pokemon you really wanted to use, just so that you don't have to worry about getting crits, because that happens a lot, and you need to keep it account for that. And since crits are so much more powerful here, they do basically half your health no matter what move it's using, for the most part. So, we have round 2. Personally, I'm rooting for Zastro. Really hope they do a lot better. Hopefully they work from their mistake. But there's only one way to find out. So we have the exact same leads, but this time going for Sword Stance. Ooh, oh my gosh, oh, you stayed in. I kind of respect it, but also, like, Sceptile is such a very valuable Pokemon, and now it's just gone. Okay, you get a crit, so at the very least, like, the opposing Sceptile isn't that much of a big deal. But you probably should have switched out there. But, ooh, you get the freeze? Okay, you don't, unfortunately. But, Tentacruel is in a really good position. But Starmie is also pretty good. This is unfortunately okay, staying in. A little weird. This would have been the perfect time to just switch back into Sceptile. Or your own Starmie? I mean, I guess, but, like, this is why you use, like, Wrap for pivoting in the first place. Instead of having to worry about, Starmie having to go for Thunder Wave, that's why you use Wrap, and then you immediately switch out. Dunsparce, though, does seem like it's in a good position, because the Sceptile is weak, so it can survive at least one Weave Blade and then Revenge Kill. And it's so tanky that it can take on Tentacruel right now. And missing 2 Wraps definitely helps. Do you get the paralysis? No, you don't, but you can probably switch into something later and probably get a kill. Or you can just keep attacking until the Wrap inevitably misses. It might be the most accurate of the trapping moves, but it can still miss. So, we don't know what Great Gusto also has, but it seems like Dunsparce right now is in a really good position. Really hard to actually take it out. So what moves does it have? We've only seen Body Slam so far. How much does this do? Yeah, Dunsparce survives, and Blizzard kills, alright. Already Dunsparce took out 2 very important Pokemon. Ooh, and he gets the rest off. It actually might just be over for Great Gusto now. I don't really see how you get past this. Dunsparce is already woken up. You can paralyze it, but it doesn't do that much. Another amnesia, so now this thing's just completely unkillable. I'm assuming you don't have Thunderbolt. So now I think Great Gusto just has to like pray for a crit. But even then, I just don't think that's enough. I think Zastro just won this game now. You switch in the Rhydon, you're faster, you can hit a really hard Earthquake, but then Dunsparce has so much HP that it doesn't matter. But a crit helps. It definitely helps. That was a really risky play, but it looked like it was worth it in the end. Also, you probably just should have switched into your Starmie instead. But I don't really know what you do for Great Gusto at this point. It's just, you're in a really bad spot, which is so few Pokemon. They have so many more resources they can use against you. You killed the Rhydon at least, but now you're paralyzed, you can just get revenge killed by Tauros. Yeah, sorry. Sorry, Great Gusto. It's over. You're not beating this. You can paralyze the Tauros, but it's just going to do way too much damage. And it has Chansey and Starmie in the back. So it's just over. It is 100% over. Maybe you might get lucky with recovery, but... Oh, okay, that... Oh, wait. Do you go for a Hyper Beam again? Oh, wow. Okay, maybe this isn't as like one-sided as I thought. I guess with Paralysis, anyone can win. Or maybe at this point you would rather switch out your Tauros? Okay, that helps you a lot. Now, do you... Oh, you missed with Hyper Beam! Oh, you should have gone for it again. Or maybe not. Okay, so Starmie's finally take it out. Okay, so it just leaves Rhydon. You go for Blizzard, you hit, you do a lot of damage. Oh my gosh, no, that's not how this ends. Oh, oh, the freeze. Oh, I am so sorry. What was the Starmie and Chansey at? Yeah, these two are healthy. You're winning either way, but talk about adding salt to the wound. That is so unfortunate. We have round 3. It definitely looks like Zastro learned a lot from their first game. They played a lot better then, a lot more clean plays. So, let's see who wins this final round, shall we? Starting off with the Jinx. Okay, so they're gonna put this... not put this, Starmie to sleep. The Rhydon instead. You now have a very powerful Blizzard, which hits really hard against Porygon. Wow. A Psychic. Oh, and this is just going really... Why would you switch it to Terrakion? Like, Jinx has such a high crit rate. Like, you killed it, sure, but... I would not have gone for that. That is really dangerous. Starmie can get a free recovery here. Yeah. So you forced out the Sceptile switch, which you were probably expecting him to have. No, they don't... Why would you do that again? You already saw that didn't work once! Sword Dance is not enough to Oko, my guy. Really? Back to Tentacruel and a critical drill pick. Wow. That did a lot more than I thought. I know I had a big tangent about, my crits doing half. But, like, I didn't think Skarmory's attack would be, like, that busted. But Tentacruel is still doing decent, but you're wasting your time with Wrap. Instead of, like, just going for, like, 5% damage, you could have been using this opportunity to switch into your Porygon, which would be able to do a lot of damage here. And considering Porygon, did take a decent amount of chip. Wow, way to make me look like an idiot. So you trap the Chansey, but do you switch out? No, Great Gusto, please. You have a Terrakion right there. You have it trapped. You can easily switch into your Terrakion, get a free double kick in. They don't bother staying in. So they had to switch. You have to force them to take out whatever their last Pokemon is. I definitely still see potential in Tentacruel though. There's no doubt about it. But this is not how you do it. You don't just like spend a million years just damaging with Wrap. Wrap is good because it's a U-turn with extra steps. Or maybe even a better U-turn because the opponent's just completely immobilized. You're getting lucky, but eventually yeah, see? Now your Tentacruel is basically useless. You should have switched into your Tracheon at the very beginning. Now, Chansey had a free chance to heal. It's probably going to paralyze the Tracheon. Or Ice Beam. Okay, now that's a misplay from Zasterly. But Gliscor actually is in a pretty good... Oh, no, I forgot this. Starmie's have very full health. Never mind. Oh, there's Toxic. That was probably a bad move. But, okay, so... You're gonna take out the Tentacruel. Because, like, it's paralyzed, it's low on health. Even if, like, you're trapped right now, inevitably, it's gonna... Well, no, just the moment it breaks, Chansey just outspeeds and kills with Seismic Toss. But with Starmie at full health, there's just nothing else you can do now. So it's just an unwinnable match. And you should have gone for Seismic Toss there. Counter was interesting. But, yeah, Mega Horn just kills. Did you go for Soft Boiled? No, you didn't. Oh, okay, yeah, it's over now. Yeah, Starmie just kills everything. Well, GG. At the very least, you still, like, put up a fight. Even though, like, a lot of the Pokemon weren't KO'd. And yes, well, actually, no. I wouldn't, Grey Gusco, I wouldn't say that Tentacruel carried. It seems like your Starmie was the much bigger threat here for his team. Because, like, Starmie was the one that could just, like, seriously threaten Gliscor, Rhydon, and Skarmory. And to be honest, you could have easily won this without a single casualty if you just actually switched. You had plenty of opportunities to switch into your Starmie or Terrakion, but instead you wasted your Tentacruel and let it get paralyzed when that was just completely unnecessary. You still, like, won though, and you only had one casualty, which is still really good. But, like, you can optimize your play with Tentacruel. You can do better. But it's still pretty good, and I still give you a lot of applause for actually bringing Tentacruel to my attention in the first place. Like, I'm not sure if it would actually be, like, an OU Pokemon, but there's no doubt about it that Tentacruel belongs in the viability rankings now. I think I might agree with you, Said, with it being C- rank, but it might even be better. Like, we'll have to see. Now, this is the last one, unless I accidentally clicked on a link twice. Lead Tentacruel and Read Starmie. Okay, this is weird and interesting. Switching into Porygon, probably a bad move. You would probably rather switch into something that doesn't care about paralysis, even if it means switching to a ground type. And this, okay, Zapdos. This is actually my first time seeing Zapdos here. But I definitely going to go into. And this here is, like, yeah, you have Heracross, but... Ooh, ground is... Well, you're both using it? Oh, wow, that's interesting. And also, yeah, like, because it's Gen 1, okay, wait, this is actually going really, really fast. Holy crap. I need to go back a few turns. So we have Heracross here. And, I don't even remember what I was saying at first. Well, who cares? Let's actually focus on what we see here. They switch into Tentacruel. Since in Gen 1, Bug and Poison are super effective against each other, that's just an instant KO. And going into Starmie here was a terrible, terrible play. Because Heracross is always going to outspeed an Oko and Mega Horn. You have no reason to really risk that. Especially with, like, what do you have here? You just have, like, Rhydon, which you were already in anyways when the Heracross was sent out. Chansey now has, like, can just kill you with Ice Beam. You don't stay in, but do they heal? You definitely should have healed there. There was no way they were going to stay with Rhydon. So now Porygon Z outspeeds a critical Psychic, does most of Rhydon's HP. But... Great Gusco probably can still win this, depending on what they have. But I think I'm betting my money on Zatsui just having this. Tentacruel, I do believe, is faster. And this probably is a legitimate good chance to... Or actually, no, you don't really need to go for Wrap here. Like, I'm not sure if you have Surf or Hydro Pump or even Blizzard. But whatever you have, it probably does more damage and just kills Porygon. Unless you were just worried about, them, like, switching in. In that case, like, fair play, but, eh. And also, like, funny enough, Heracross's fighting typing is actually very relevant here. Because it, resists Mega Horn. I'm not sure if Mega Horn or Magnetos is better in the mirror. But we have Zapdos, which is still alive. And unfortunately, the Rhydon is just enough health to where, also there, see right there? A perfect case of pivoting. Zastrally, I'm sorry for everything I said in the first replay. You have completely redeemed yourself, and I am proud of you. And now, with just, Heracross and Sceptile, yeah, Zapdos cleans this up pretty easily. Paralysis, that was actually a really good idea. Now the Tentacruel can also outspeed. Ooh, but it doesn't matter. Zapdos cleans it up and finishes them off. And then obviously Drill Peck just finishes. And that's game. Okay, GG to both players. You guys both played very well. And Zastrally, you improved a lot with just these 4 games. So, like, I'm proud of you. And Grey Gusco, I'm also proud of you because you, made me really excited about actually being able to use Tentacruel, which is pretty cool. But, for the love of God, just don't make that your gimmick. Like, actually just try to win. I think you've already made your point. If you think your team could be good with Tentacruel, like, obviously use it. But don't just, like, try to use it for just the sake of using it. Always keep your opponent guessing. Like me. I already have an idea about what I'm going to do for my next team. So, yeah, I thank you guys all for watching. This was probably my favorite replay so far. And if you want to play in the Generation Jumble yourself, sorry, that I said the word too quickly. If you want to play in the Generation Jumble yourself, you should definitely join the Discord server. We have a whole bunch of people, both night and day. Like, we have a lot of different time zones. And we love to challenge you, play against you, and maybe you can help us determine what the best Pokemon are. Right now, Sceptile and Porygon Z are tied for number 1 most used Pokemon, followed by Tauros, and then Rhydon, and then, like, the list goes on after that. But, yeah, all in all, I'm impressed so far. Thank you all for watching. This is Groundback, and until next time, I look forward to hearing from you.